Hey everyone, welcome into another episode of Crull Me Maybe. The king of college football joining me today, Chuck Oliver. I know you guys have been waiting a long time for this sit down, and it's tough with your schedule to find some time, but I'm so glad we're getting to do this today, Chuck.
Yeah, on this day, Wednesdays, we got the Braves Clubhouse report, so they've carved out an extra half hour for us, so yeah, I'm good.
So we are squeezing it in here, and for those that are new, you guys, the thought behind Crull Me Maybe, I know you know the song, but we try to use a little phone call at the beginning to ease into what will hopefully be a conversation of getting to know somebody as the person behind the microphone or the show or all these stories they have. And today we're going to try and do that with Chuck. And I'm very nervous because I want to do right by you, Chuck.
All right.
And I want to do right by my colleagues here to really get something maybe you've never heard before. And that's what we're going to try and do today.
All right.
But what I typically do to start this off is I have you pick up the phone. It's like an exercise. It's an icebreaker. And I have you call your 10-year-old self and just try to give 10-year-old Chuck, remember what 10-year-old Chuck's like, and try to give him a heads up of what's coming, what to look out for, what to be open-minded with. How would you call yourself, and what would you say to 10-year-old Chuck? Go ahead, pick up the phone. You can do it.
Other Chuck?
That's right.
Hey, it's this Chuck. All right, first things first, all those baseball cards that are so well loved, stop playing with them. Put them in a shoebox, put them in the top of the closet, stop touching them. But beyond that, I would say don't do that at all, because that's probably the biggest disconnect between the two of us. Is I probably need third grade you calling me to say, dig your life a little more. Like third grade you would really look around at some of the details and go, oh my gosh, you spend every day at a baseball stadium. You get to do that, and that's actually your job. You would tell me to enjoy it a little bit more. So I actually am trying to channel the spirit of 1977, Chuck. So I appreciate you picking up, and maybe I'll talk to you soon.
So baseball cards.
Oh, yeah.
You were into those at 10. Big time. Is that where the love for baseball began?
We used to get there used to be the Atlanta Journal and the Atlanta Constitution.
Sure.
Two
both.
papers. Mm-hmm. So we would always get the morning paper. And I was the third grader, like racing my dad down to the end of the driveway because I wanted the box scores. And so baseball was always my heartbeat, way more than football. And I cut every blade of grass in our neighborhood, and it would be the Magic Market down the street where you'd go get a couple of packs.
Okay.
So that also I realized was kind of checking the boxes for my OCD, because you can have an order and you can check things off, and you can have this thing by completeness. And so whoever you were in third grade, 10-year-old, you're a whole lot of that today, just a grown-up version. And so that's what I was telling me, like, third grade me should seriously dig my life. And I try to, like every day, I'm like, why are you so stressed? Why are you so, part of it is busy. Part of it is when you're in third grade, you don't have a mortgage. Part of it, you've never been fired. You've never had disappointment, I've got to be on the playground at 4. Like, I am so busy.
If only that were the biggest responsibility of the day.
And so it's not that way anymore. So I understand the reality of it, but I do catch myself all the time going, Chuck, what would third grade you think of this? What would actually, like, freshman in high school you think of this?
Okay.
And he would be pretty blown away. He's like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And so I remind myself that 57-year-old Chuck needs to be kind of, hey, this is cool too. Enjoy the in the moment. It's not all just I've lived my whole life as a freight train almost.
Sure.
Next. And it's paid some dividends, obviously, but it also has sort of informed every personal interaction, professional interactions, relationships, everything I do. And so I have started to try to be less freight trainish and kind of enjoy things.
Stay in the moment a little more.
Enjoy
have that perspective. Yes. Enjoy it. But what did third grade and or freshman in high school Chuck Oliver think he was going to do with his life at that point?
Maybe an attorney.
Okay.
Maybe, though, I was thinking sports writer at some point. When I was a freshman in high school, we would have typing class. We still had the IBM Selectric. Have you ever used an actual typewriter?
Yes, my mother had one, but...
What year did you graduate high school? I graduated in '86.
02.
Okay. Okay, so you had keyboarding.
We had keyboarding too when I went
you
through.
had keyboarding. I had typing.
Typing, okay.
And so I would, as a freshman, so you're supposed to be typing out of this book. I'm not even kidding. I would sit there and I would type really accurate and legit sounding press releases.
You were practicing press releases.
San Antonio Spurs George Gervin was found unresponsive today at his outer San Antonio apartment, and my buddy was a San Antonio Spurs fan, so I wrote an obit for George Gervin. I think Iceman's still with us, though, still, like all these decades later. But like that's what I would do. I was sitting typing, and I would come up with this stuff. I've always been able to turn a phrase, and so whether it was speaking, whether it was writing, I've done it. And so that's kind of like, that was sort of my bend already, was what am I doing typing all this stuff out of the typing book? Like, let's do something real and fun. And so from there, I wound up, when I was a junior in high school, started writing for the Gwinnett Daily News, getting paid $40 to do high school basketball. That was drug dealer money in 1984.
Yeah.
That was
absolutely.
And then I worked the ultimate hustle, and I was like, you always got to be aggressive here,
yes,
you know?
It's true.
Well, you're giving me 40 to cover the Duluth Central Gwinnett game. How about the girls' game before it? And they're like, well, we don't cover girls basketball. I was like, well, you should. Equality. There'll be something called Title IX that you'll care about later.
So far ahead of the curve.
And so they were like, well, if you're going to be there anyway, go ahead. And so I doubled my pay. $80 to go watch a high school girls game and boys game and then write about it. And I thought that literally was stealing money.
Yeah. Wheeling and dealing already.
Oh God, I would go to school with like 5s and 10s hanging out of my pocket. And that's because I could write, I'd type. So that's what that is.
Did you also play?
I played football in high school.
Okay.
And I was an offensive tackle. And we were good. I was good enough to start. I was across the line of scrimmage from a guy named Mike Strickland, who wound up playing at Appalachian State. The weight room's named after him now. But I stopped playing as a sophomore, and because I didn't like actually playing, I loved the game. I loved the part of it. And so I wound up coaching later.
Yes.
But I never really enjoyed. I remember like when we were in 8th grade, and there was a practice got rained out, and so the coaches were sitting there just having a chalk talk. And so the kids would show up to practice. I can't practice today. Hell, I stayed.
You were excited.
And I was sitting in the back, and I just watched, and I was like, and I watched Terry Adams just go through all of this, and I was like, this is fascinating to me. And so I was always kind of that mindset anyway. And so was going to Troy, got a full scholarship down there too.
Yeah.
And turned it down to go to Auburn, and I had a little bit of money. Gwinnett News Corporation, USA Today, back in the day. I don't know if they still own it. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I got some money there and wound up going to Auburn. But I mean, back in the day, all right, this is where we talk about how old I am. Fall of '86, out-of-state tuition for a full load, which I think was 12 to 18 hours.
Okay, what was that?
We're on quarters, by the way.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
A quarter was $915
Oh my God.
for out-of-state tuition. And it's like 50 grand now, if you can get in, because they raised the thing because they want everybody in-state who's been paying taxes all the time. So I wound up going to Auburn, and again, same thing. I was like, all right, I need to be around this because I really enjoyed it. So I was working for the campus radio station, WEGL 91.1. I hosted the 4:45 afternoon sports report brought to you by Auburn Exotic Fish.
Wow. Well, hey, at least you had a sponsor,
Yeah,
so there's
we
that.
couldn't have commercials because it was a college station, but you could have a sponsor.
Yes, exactly.
So Auburn Exotic Fish was my sponsor. And
Ozzy Obvious would appreciate that.
Yes.
The exotic fish. Very nice.
On Tuesdays, they had the press conferences. And so everybody in the media, including pretend media like college radio, you could go to the press conference, and then you could eat in the players' dorm on a Tuesday.
Ooh.
Well, at Auburn,
Access.
yeah, it was, they didn't serve you. It was you get. And chicken and dumplings, country fried steak. And so for college freshmen, that's high cotton.
High end.
Well, I walked in one day, and Coach Dye was at a table with like 3 of the coaches. And I remember they were talking about the blocking of the backside guard on one play. And so I'm trying to not be noticed, because the boss at the radio station said, no, you really do get to eat on Tuesdays. I was like, really? So I was just trying to be quiet, you know? And about a half hour later, I'm leaving, and I walk past him, and I look. He is still talking about the blocking of the backside guard on this same play a half hour later. And I was like, this is fascinating to me. So then on Tuesdays, I started sitting at the table next to him and just kind of,
Yeah.
and it just was this really big education of it. And so you think you know everything when you're a freshman. You realize you know a little bit about a few things. Yeah. And so, but that was always kind of my bend. And so changed from, I was a journalism major, mass comm. You know, I was going to be a writer.
Yes. Yes.
Follow that newspaper thing from high school. Mm-hmm. And about halfway through, I switched to English and literature and became a teacher at that point.
Why
because
the switch?
Well, there was a lot of overlap between being a writer and teaching English.
Of course.
But also, I wanted to coach.
I was going to say, you had that passion for sports, but you thought you'd turn it into coaching.
Absolutely.
And being a teacher. Got it.
So that's where it went. And so graduate Auburn, come back to, I had a guy, Coach Spellman, who actually was my coach, offensive line coach at at Central Gwinnett when I was there. And I said, yeah, after my sophomore year, he left Central and went down the road to South Gwinnett, which was the big rival.
Okay.
Became the head coach there. I graduated Auburn 6 years after that, maybe. Well, give him all the credit in the world. He's gone from football coach at South Gwinnett to like #2 in Gwinnett County. He's like assistant to the superintendent. And then he went on, and he was the headmaster at St. Pius. Steve Spellman, he's got an unbelievable reputation, resume, just a great guy. Well, he was still Coach Spellman to me. I had no idea who I was calling, like the rank of this guy.
Like where he was at that point, right?
And so I graduate Auburn, and I get back, and I'm like, yo, Coach. He's like, what's up, Chuck? I was like, I need a job, man.
See, and he probably loved that. That brings him back to that point.
He was still Coach Spellman to me.
You're still just,
but the funny thing is that we have like business owners who come in here sometimes. Coach Oliver! And like about once every couple months, I'll still get a Coach Oliver, somebody yelling at me. And so he was Coach Spellman to me, even though he was like running St. Pius, you know.
And you're the king of college football now.
We did a Friday night game, a TV game there. We were doing, maybe Centennial was playing St. Pius or somebody, and and so I show up, and I was like, Coach Spellman. He was like, I haven't coached in 25 years, Chuck. But that's who he was.
Yes.
And so he helped me get an interview at South Gwinnett, and so I wound up teaching English and coaching football over there.
At South Gwinnett.
Yeah.
I want you to rewind for me, because I think a lot of the times, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but what was home life like for you growing up? Mom and dad, siblings, how influential was what they did to getting you into having those baseball cards in front of you?
Okay. I'm the fourth of 4 kids.
Of 4 kids. So the baby of 4. So you were a baby. Were you treated like a baby?
No.
The baby that got away with everything? No. Okay.
Southern traditional family, which means if you can sweat or hurt yourself, the females did not do it. I popped out of the womb moving a sofa bed. I mean, absolutely. My dad, I was the firstborn son.
Okay, so you have 3 older sisters?
Sister, and then a 3-year gap, and then me. And my dad's like, fantastic, somebody to cut the grass.
How does having 3 sisters like shape you? That's different, Chuck. I mean,
you have to go to your parents' bedroom to watch Monday Night Baseball, because the big TV in the living rooms are always taken.
Sure.
But
because those are going to, I don't know, The Bachelor, The Bachelorette.
Oh no, it was like Miss America pageant and whatever else that they would watch.
So very girly girls.
And I'm in there watching Mark Fidrich pitch against the Yankees in that famous Monday night game. And so that's one of those things, though. Monday Night Baseball, people forget there was a Monday Night Baseball on ABC back in the day.
Yep.
And so I had 3 older sisters. They graduated when I was in 5th, 7th, and 9th grade.
Okay.
And so that was the spacing. And so my dad was a commissioned salesman. That's the one thing, like more than anything, that's part of my freight train mentality, which it's not always a positive. It hasn't been. But
it's hard to find balance when you're wired that way.
Oh, I don't have any balance. So
we'll get into that.
My dad, his first job, he was born in a tool shed in Castleberry, Alabama.
For real?
On a farm, yeah. First job, he was 5, picking cotton for 2.5 cents a pound.
Oh my gosh.
Went into the Air Force, became a commissioned salesman.
Okay.
He sold everything from, those candy bars, like where the band sells the candy bar.
Yeah.
School gets $1.
Yes.
Yeah. My dad was the candy bar delivery guy.
Okay.
He sold jets for Boeing. You ain't got to sell many of those.
Yeah, that would be.
So commission sales. So he also traveled a bunch. And so by some way, interest in sports, like somebody flew a helicopter over our house and pushed it out on me. Oh. Dad wasn't there during the week. And the influence was a lot of things other than, hey, the Packers are on.
Right. Sure. Okay.
So it just turned out.
So is it an outlet for you to a degree? You're the man of the house, essentially, if your dad's out.
I craved it. I was like, we have to have this. This is competition. Don't you understand how important it is? The Braves game is on tonight. It was not important. They were a 100-loss team. It was not important. Okay. But this is important. We need to watch the Braves tonight. You can watch it in our bedroom on the small TV.
Oh,
so, yeah, and by the way, you didn't get raised in the 70s or even the 80s, really. There was this thing called black and white television.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so the 19-inch black and white was in the parents' bedroom, whereas like the big monster 27-inch color tube TV in the living room, I couldn't watch that.
Sister's got.
So it's a God's own private mystery how I wound up with.
Did you have, listening to those games, watching those games, did you have a guy? Was there an announcer?
Skip Carey.
He was your guy.
So long, everybody. I used to listen. I had a Panasonic clock radio that I got because that's what they gave away to the player of the game. They would give him a Panasonic clock radio. And I used to wonder, I was like, I've seen Phil Necro get like 9 of these. What's he doing with them? But I got one just like it.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing. You can't make fun of me.
Okay. No one make fun of him for this.
But Skip used to make fun of people for this, and I was one of them. He was like, we used to say, like, they used to do TV games as well, and they would switch in the 5th inning.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do that, but they used to switch in the 5th inning. And so he would say, we'll see you on Braves radio. And he said, we would always get questions about, where do I get a Braves radio? Well, I was a 3rd grader. I thought the Braves radio was the Panasonic clock radio. I was like, I have to get a Braves radio. He was always talking about, listen to us on Braves radio.
Braves radio.
So I got one of those Panasonic clock radios, and I would listen to the game every single night. And Skip Carey, I don't know if he had short straw or whatever, but he would always do the post-game show, and he would do it in the same order. He would do a quick Braves wrap-up. They would do the American League scores, the National League scores. He would come back, give a quick, brief little whatever, and then say, so long, everybody. And so then I would turn the game off, and that was it. That's every single night. It was every pitch from Skip Carey. If it was on TV, that was great. But if it wasn't, it was on the radio.
So you go into teaching.
Yeah. Make no money. $29,500 my first year.
It's always fascinating to hear those. $29,500. How far could you stretch $29,500 in a year at that point teaching?
Well, me and my roommate in the apartment.
Okay, so roommate, yep.
In the apartment. We did okay. We did all right. Got a furnished apartment. And there's no accounting for taste with 2 guys anyway, so we weren't going to furnish it well. So we did make the right call. We just got a furnished apartment.
Good call.
And so it was a fine enough existence, but it honestly and I love the coaching part of it. One of my plays is in the record book still too. I coach defensive line and kickoff return.
Defensive line, kickoff return. Okay.
And
tell us about this play.
I designed, it was a reverse on a kickoff.
Oh.
And we were playing Central Gwinnett one night, my alma mater. And so I was in charge of kickoff. Everybody had a different special team. And so after Central had scored, I walked out there, and I always had my little landmark map with me. I was like, hey, kickoff return, get over here. And I was like, reverse right. Coach, you don't call these. I was like, run it, reverse right. And so they all run out there, and I turned around, the head coach was like, everything was like, what'd you call? And it's either reverse right, landmark this, like whatever the return was. I turned around, he's like, what'd you call? I said, touchdown.
Oh.
And
not at all confident.
TJ Anderson, who you can see, we wound up playing wingback at Georgia Southern. TJ catches the deep ball on about the 8-yard line, because I think it was a 92-yard return. He heads up the far hash, and one of the second-level blockers, Rick Snell, he's from the Snellville family.
Oh. Okay.
They get it on a reverse, and Rick could run real fast on a straight line. So he hit the other sideline and just got outside the reach of the central kicker and smoking down the sidelines, touchdown. And that was the longest kickoff return in South history. So I didn't do anything, but I just kind of drove up, and then I called it. And then they ran real fast. But I had a blast coaching.
I was just going to say, was that must have been one of your favorite moments?
It was wonderful. It was seeing kids, like they were just funny sometimes. I had a kid, Scott Wallace, who busted his tail, did everything he could. You know, he's like 6'2", 220. And we're playing Norcross one night. And do you know Jeff Backus?
The name sounds familiar.
Okay, played at Norcross. Then he started at left tackle at Michigan for 4 years. Then he was a first-round draft pick of the Lions and played in the NFL for like 15 years.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, well, let's go back to when he's a senior in high school. He's playing left tackle against us.
Okay.
And so I'm on the sidelines, and I got my whiteboard, and I got my dry erase marker. You know, they come off the field, and it's, what are they doing to you? You know, and I'm going, because they're going to tell me what the guy's doing, and I'm going to draw something up. You know, well, he's pinching me down, or you know, whatever. And so Scott comes running off the field. I was like, what's he doing to you? He says, kicking my ass. And I just kind of looked at him, and I was like, go get some more, Scott. I was like, what are you going to draw up when a kid tells you?
He's just kicking my butt.
It's like, yeah, there's nothing to draw up there. Just go get some more Jeff Backus out there if you want to. There were those moments where I was like, that was pretty funny, Scott. And then he's against this guy who winds up being like a 6-time Pro Bowler. But I had a great time coaching, and I really still watch the game that way. Try to, at least.
Yeah.
I don't need to be doing color anymore. I've realized that. I did color on Missouri Auburn as recently as Saturday. I've done Mississippi State game this year. I did South Carolina Bandy. Did Florida State Miami.
And what is it about it that now it doesn't?
I think you need to be a quarterback. I think that doing color on games has changed to the point that you need to be a QB.
Really?
And I just, like Hudson Mason, you know Hudson at all?
Of course.
He's a savant when you put him in front of a football field, because here's what it has become about, is coverages in the pass game.
Right.
And I mean, everybody can pick up the alignment and the technique and all that, and I can see that the corner, the pre-snap, you got to find it out, not post-snap. Post-snap is like, well, back of the jersey or front of the jersey. Everybody knows that. You look at the corner, if he's looking at the quarterback, that's going to be zone coverage. If pre-snap he's looking at the receiver, that's man. If it's a combo coverage or it change, I lose track of it. I just don't have that, and it didn't used to matter. And I think that it's all about Tony Romo predicting plays and Tom Brady and the insight that a quarterback gives. So I have a blast, and I try to do a good job, but I don't think I need to be doing color anymore.
But
I think the job's changed.
When you say that, though, isn't there a space to finding yourself in that moment, being able to play to your strengths? And I only say this because I enjoy storytelling, and I know you do too. What you've done today is incredible storytelling. Now, I understand what an analyst's role is, but I feel like there's space to see it done other ways. And you bring the ability to storytell and break down, to your point, to the degree that you like and enjoy doing, but it doesn't always have to be done the same way, does it?
And I think, like I said, I'm wondering about how much it's changed, because every time I listen to a game, it's what I hear, and it's kind of what I'm interested in. So there are a lot of, like, Greg Olson wasn't a quarterback, but he also played in the league for 15 years.
Yeah, very good.
And so there's a lot of really good guys out there.
Who do you enjoy listening to? That's a good question. In that role, who's you mentioned Olson.
Can I tell you somebody who's become a star?
Yeah, please.
Are you a Vegas girl?
Like, do I like going?
Have you gone to Las Vegas?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I'm not for the same. I'm not a big gambler, but I enjoy the shows and good dinners and shopping.
You know, the Strip's better than downtown, right?
Yeah.
Roddy Jones has gone from downtown to the Strip.
Okay.
He was doing ACC games. He's doing SEC games now.
Yeah.
I think Roddy Jones is going to be a star. He is so good at this. Every time, here's my measuring stick. I learned something about the game, not the game they're doing.
Right.
But I learned something about the game. And I think Roddy does that a lot. I really am impressed with what he does. And he wasn't a quarterback either, but and there's like Brian Baldinger. I always enjoyed him on the broadcast.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you want to go old school, it was Ron Jaworski. I used to like, and remember the thing about Jaws was he used to watch film. He was one of the very first guys
to sort of do that.
that his thing was film.
Now we've got them all over.
Oh, that's absolutely. And that's how you can build your own following on any sort of digital platform. Brooks Austin on YouTube.
Yes.
And he's an amazing source to go to if you want to watch film like that. I did a film series back in the day with Jim Donnan about some stuff, and I had a blast doing it. Like I said, I think I'm wondering at least if the job of color has changed enough. But like I said, I have a blast doing it. And it's not flying the space shuttle, and it doesn't really matter if you do it wrong, if people are entertained.
That's where I don't know that there's a right and a wrong, but it is harder to do things in that space now. It's harder to storytell because you don't have time anymore in broadcasts with the way games
with the
move
hurry up, the pace of the game. There's nothing for me to do sometimes, depending on who we play.
Okay, circle back. Your first taking from coaching, your first time in front of a mic. How did we get there? What was that moment?
After the 4:45 afternoon sports report?
Yes.
Okay, I've never been much of an introvert.
And you don't say.
My freight trainers thing. All right, so we got to go way back. I want to say this is the summer of '92, maybe.
Okay.
WSB had the Braves since they came to Atlanta.
Okay.
And then they lost the Braves.
Okay, yes.
And so they went somewhere. WGST, maybe, when GST had a big giant thing. And so there was a summer replacement series, but I'm just muscle memory. My whole life, radio, baseball, WSB.
Right.
Well, baseball season starts. It's a Saturday night. I'm delivering for Domino's Pizza.
Are you really?
I absolutely am. And
that's so fascinating.
My training, it's not Domino's, it's Domino's Pizza. And so I'm driving around, and out of habit, I just turn on the radio to get my Braves, and it's sports trivia trade-off. With, they had a character, Top 10 Ernie.
Okay, yes.
Baseball Annie, which is not a compliment.
Okay.
You know what a baseball Annie is?
Well, now I do.
Durham?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And then Dave Baker. Do you know Dave Baker? Dave from Conyers?
Dave from Conyers.
Dave Baker. He's
Baker.
Big producer and whatever. So, but he was hosting back then.
Okay, I didn't.
And so they had sports trivia trade-off. And they had these 3 real radio people, and the game was, if you called in, they would ask you a trivia question, and if you got that right, they'd ask you a second one. And then if you got the second one right, you got to ask them a sports question.
Ooh.
And if you got through the first 2 and then stumped them, you won a prize.
Okay.
Well, I called in and answered all the questions.
I was gonna say, I see you all over this.
And I got all the, it was like going to the fair and hitting all the, getting all the stuffed animals. And so they asked me to come in and host the next week. And so that was summer of '92, and I did that in '92 and '93. And then that went away because I was moving on with my life and just doing stuff. But it was a fun job, and I got experience on the radio in Atlanta. But then that went away until I won a contest. I won my career. Did you know that?
Well, so I had heard the story a little bit through others, but never through you.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like the ESPN dream job, only it was a little bit before that.
Well, I had retired from my teaching job. I had done that for 6 years.
So you were done with that.
I was a freelance writer, and I had a client downtown I was dropping some stuff off for, and 790 The Zone was having we want the biggest college football fan in Atlanta. It was supposed to be a gimmick, like we're going to give a listener a show.
Yes.
Well, so I went and won the contest, and so they gave me a show. And what I realize now is if you make a program director's life easy, he or she will continue to schedule you.
Yes.
Oh, and so when the contest ended and college football was over, they were like, well, you want to keep showing up? I was like, yes.
Yes.
And so so you did it too? Yes.
Yes.
Hey, Kelly, are you available? Yes. 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 And so I said yes to Matt Edgar for about 1.5 years. And so then it just kind of went from there. So.
What pressures do you feel like now the king of college football has? Because college football, from where you started to where it is now, I mean, it's a beast. And to do and carry the load that you do, you're trying to find fun. You mentioned that earlier. If you could segue third grade you into your heart now, it would be to find fun. But that's got to be hard with the pressures that come with all that you're doing. So you just said you don't have balance, but how do you try to find it?
Well, the fun part of it is important to remember. I remember we were up for something, ESPN had a bunch of affiliates up there about 10 years ago. And I remember Colin Cowherd, and I was like, all right, he makes $9 million a year doing this.
That would be fun.
Colin. Colin said, people want 2 things, football and funny. And he's like, if you give them football and funny, you can have a good show. And I was like, all right, well, I got half this. Let's work on the funny. So that's kind of my template. I swear to you, it is that simple every single day. And we'll talk Hawks and tech and do all kinds of stuff. But if you give people football and funny, especially in Atlanta.
You've got a winner.
Yeah. The pressure, though, is because everyone who listens, literally every person who listens has never had more access to instantaneous, accurate information.
Right.
Which means, here's the thing, like we have an affiliate in Gainesville, we have one in Baton Rouge, we have one in Starkville. I'm never going to out LSU coverage the station in Baton Rouge. there are people who listen to that. I never will know more about LSU than them. And so I need to accept that. And it doesn't need to be the Chuck Oliver, show with, I have these guests on that are experts. I need to let them be their show when they're on, when I have them on, because they really are the experts that drill down every single day. It is so difficult if you get in your mind that you have to know everything. And it's just because everybody who listens, you don't pass the smell test so quickly. Because they do know, and all they follow is LSU or Mississippi State or Georgia or Auburn, and they know a lot more than you do.
Okay, rapid fire to end this up because I know we're tight on time. He's got another show to do. It's Shark. Playlists on your phone right now. Mm-hmm. What are you into on your phone? What, as far as like music goes? Sorry, I meant like music. If you get in your car, what's the
Bee Gees never hurt anybody.
Bee Gees.
All right, they never hurt anybody. They really didn't. So the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack has been playing a little bit. Foster the People. Oh. And The Weeknd.
Now that is an eclectic group right there. That's good. What does Chuck do when he is not locked in on sports?
Beach.
You're at the beach.
Waves, Gulf Coast, not Atlantic. Who wants a sunrise on vacation? Sunset on vacation.
Yes, that's a good one.
White sand versus gray sand, blue water versus black water, Gulf Coast for Chuck. Floribama. Have you been to the Floribama?
I haven't done that one.
Kelly.
I know.
Have you not been? Do you know about the Floribama?
I've heard about it.
Oh.
I just haven't been there yet.
Everything you've heard is true.
Is it?
Yeah. It's even more fun.
Well, and I've heard all about 38 too, and I've not
yeah. You need to get down there, girl.
No, well, vacation, right? It's
all this PTO you built up.
All right. Exactly. Okay.
Can I ask you something?
Sure. That's not how this is supposed to work, but I guess so.
Is there other stuff you want to ask me? Is there anything you want to get in before we're done here?
Well, there is, but we're just not going to get to it today, and I've come to grips with that. So I'm trying to get in a few rapid fire things that are fun.
Right, go ahead.
The no sugar thing. Where did that start and why? And so how do you splurge when you get to splurge?
Okay. So I walked into my house October 1st, 2017, and my wife was sitting there. She's like, we need to talk. I was like, that's not good.
Oh, no, that's not
I don't know what it is, but it's not good.
No.
So funny, she had figured up all of my money that I had spent on baseball cards for the previous year. And she says, I've taken away 100% of it. For every 10 pounds you lose, you get back 20% of your budget.
Oh.
And I was like, well, I got to get, and I don't know, it's football season, it's too time, I can't come up with anything. Well, I'll just cut out sugar. And the only reason I said that is we had a Smart Water fitness challenge back in the day, me and Mike Bell and somebody else, and we had our nutritionist, Rachel Brandeis. She's still here in Atlanta. She's fantastic. And I remember her saying that if sugar were just discovered, it might not get FDA approval. And I was like, what? She's like, what's your favorite snack? I said, a donut. She said, all right, that's a piece of cake that you wrap in sugar and then deep fry.
Yes. And that's why it's so good.
And so I was like, all right, Rachel, she jumped into my brain and I was like, all right, I'll just cut out sugar. All I've done is cut out added sugar on 79 pounds. That's all I do. In fact,
wow.
I've got sugar-free banana pecan cake.
That looks delicious.
It's fantastic. It
does look delicious. So you don't allow yourself to ever have a...
No, I do. At Thanksgiving, I'll have half a slice of apple and half a slice of pecan pie from Buttermilk Sky. Wow. Free endorsement. Go see Kimmy at Buttermilk Sky. It's fantastic stuff.
That is discipline.
Oh,
I mean...
Well, but here's the... It's a lot better than how it used to be because, like, I'm not even trying to be flippant here. I could have died during COVID. That was one of the things, being overweight and not carrying it well and all that. And so I'm just glad I did that. That started in 2017. I did it over 13 months. I just started losing weight. And so I still do it. But when I splurge, it'll be Thanksgiving. It'll never be like a Twix bar.
Okay.
You know, if you're gonna have
like
dessert,
something
have something
just
good.
Right. Something homemade.
Pumpkin caramel cheesecake.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, absolutely.
Not a Snickers.
I think for me, it might be getting real coffee and not the fake stuff. That's like splendid. I know. We're not talking about me today. What if Chuck Oliver were not doing what he's doing, and I wasn't in the teacher? What is the better question? What is the next chapter for Chuck Oliver? What do you hope, or what is one thing you haven't yet done in this career that's a bucket list thing for you?
I've got two things I'm envisioning. I want to be the owner and operator of a one-man limousine company.
Oh, you would crush it in that.
Pick people up at the airport, drive them to the Hilton.
Oh, good at that. Yes.
And then you get that call. I need to go to Charlotte, but it'll be $800. You know, all right, Charlotte we go. Or I'm not kidding. Because I'm up every day. Like
Are you an early riser? Ugh.
I'm up 5 at the latest.
Oh, you can fill in for me on the morning show then.
Okay. I want to be the guy. I want them to pay me to run those chairs and umbrellas out to the sand each day at a resort.
Really?
And then I'm done by 6.
Yes. And just chilling on the beach.
And I got my exercise, I got whatever else, and I'm fine. And I'll sit there with the chalkboard and you're, what room? 215? Okay. And you're going to be here till Thursday? All right. That I would absolutely do that.
Where? Like, are you going to Mexico to do that?
Gulf
Are you
Coast.
doing that Gulf Coast? Okay.
Perdido Key, Mexico Beach, Port St. Joe, Cape San Blas, but it gets just violent out there. So, I mean, you're on the Cape, for gosh sakes. So, I don't want that. I mean, so, I could do that, though.
Okay.
Run those chairs out there in the umbrellas. I
could just see that one day being, well, you'll retire much before I will, but maybe taking vacation. And there's Chuck.
Yeah, you
Chuck,
and the husband
hey,
and the
Chuck,
critters come out there. We need 4 chairs all week, Chuck.
Chuck, if you don't
Kelly,
mind.
got you.
Well, you had me today. This was so much fun. I could go, we're on a time crunch and you've got a show to do in 8 minutes. But we will circle back to this because I really didn't get to any of these, just so you know.
Oh, wow. Well,
I did put in the work.
Because you know what?
These are questions I had for Chuck.
That we didn't even get to.
No. Some of them were good. If I opened your phone's playlist on game day, what's playing? Who would be your dream guest? Someone you'd love to sit down and talk life with? I'm sure that's me. When you look back someday at this incredible career of yours, what do you hope people have to say about you?
Oh, I distracted them in traffic. I've lived in Atlanta my whole life. That's my main job is that your 57-minute commute, you think it was like about a half hour. Chuck and Matt were with me.
Yep.
So.
You do it every day. Thank you for being part of Crull Me Maybe.
Word up.
Appreciate it. Yeah. And for the latest episode, always, you can go right here, 680thefan.com, and we have them on Spotify and all the places that you listen to normal podcasts. Up next, Buck Bellew. Big shoes to fill after the one and only Chuck Oliver. Thanks for joining us on Crull Me Maybe.